Welcome to Orange Bowl. Northwestern against Notre Dame. For this Action PC playoff game. Stevenson to kick off. The kick from Stevenson is returned 39 yards by Ryan Bernal on the tackle. First and 10 from the 47. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Ryan at the line. Bootleg. Ryan lost 5 on the play, Kelly with the tackle. Single wing formation. Ryan fades back to pass. Ryan tucks it under. Ryan with a gain of 7 on the play, Gallagher on the tackle. Third and 8 from the 45. Single wing formation. Daly out wide. McGurn on the draw. McGurn on the draw, no gain, Gallagher on the stop. Purtell back in punt formation. Sitko waiting inside his own 10. "42-yard punt by Purtell, out of bounds. Sagaw from the shotgun. Sagaw calls out the signals. The handoff to Zontainai. Zontainai the ball carrier, gain of 6, Kutliike on the tackle. Bootleg. Room for Sagaw. 16-yard gain by Sagaw, Ryan on the tackle, first down. Bootleg. Sagaw with a gain of 3 on the play, EB with the tackle. Second and 7 at the 28. Sheridan behind center. Medium outside pass to P-Pool, incomplete. Sheridan to P-Pool, incomplete, Jefferson on the coverage. Third and 7. Bootleg. Sagaw on the bootleg, 9-yard gain, Deal on the tackle, first down. Sagaw calling signals. Sagaw pitches left to Zontainai. Zontainai on the pitch, gain of 3, Deal on the tackle. Transfers control to P-Pool. P-Pool with a gain of 1 on the play, Voits on the stop. Third and 6. Sagaw back to pass. Long cross to Brown. Incomplete. Sagaw to Brown, incomplete. Stevenson to punt. "36-yard punt by Stevenson, return of 6 by Ryan.
Illegal block. Receiving team.
Single wing formation. Ryan in the shotgun. Give to Ryan. Ryan throws underneath to McGurn, incomplete. Ryan with the pass to McGurn, incomplete, Loney on the coverage. Single wing formation. Ryan drops back to pass. False. Ryan on the carry, gain of 1, Viner on the tackle. Third and 9. Single wing formation. Ryan fades back to pass. Medium sideline pass to Daly. Incomplete. Ryan with the pass to Daly, incomplete, Zontainai with the coverage. Football back in punt formation. A 39-yard punt by Football, 11-yard return by Sitko. First and 10 from the 43. Saga from the shotgun. Saga with the give to Football. Football on the carry, no gain, Daly on the tackle. Second and 10 from the 43. Saga hands to Sheridan. He throws downfield to Brown, incomplete. Saga throws incomplete to Brown. Penalty on the play.
False start. Offense. Number 51, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, third down.
Third and 15. Saga to throw. Pass in the flat to Zontainai, incomplete. Saga throws incomplete to Zontainai, method on the coverage.
False start. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, fourth down.
Stevenson to punt. Ryan waiting inside his own 10. A 39-yard punt by Stevenson, return of 6 by Ryan. Single wing formation. Shotgun. The give to McGurn. McGurn on the carry, gain of 2, Brown on the tackle. Second and 8 from the 22. Single wing formation. Hand off to McGurn. McGurn with a lane. McGurn gains 15 on the sweep, Loney with the tackle, first down. First and 10. Single wing formation. Ryan at the line. The hand off to McGurn. McGurn on the carry, gain of 1, Kerr on the tackle. Penalty on the play.
False start. Offense. Number 15, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Single wing formation. Ryan fades back to pass. Medium slant to Evie. Incomplete. Ryan throws incomplete to Evie, Stevenson on the coverage. Third and 14 from the 33. Single wing formation. Hand off to Ryan. He checks down to Evie. Complete. Ryan completes the pass to Evie, gain of 43, Stevenson on the tackle, first down. First and 10 from the 24. Single wing formation. Ryan calls the signals. Soper shovels it to Lasky. Lasky with a gain of 1 on the play, Brown on the stop. Second and 9 from the 23. Single wing formation. Soper hands to McGurn. Running room. McGurn with a gain of 15 on the play, Stevenson on the tackle, first down. First and goal from the 8. Single wing formation. Soper behind center. Soper on the draw. Soper on the draw, no gain, Kelly on the stop. Single wing formation. Ryan barks out the signals. Give to McGurn. McGurn the ball carrier, touchdown Northwestern. Cantillas will try the point after. Cantillas makes the extra point, Northwestern 7, Notre Dame 0. The kick from Cantillas. The kick from Cantillas is returned 38 yards by Football, Mezek with the tackle. First and 10. Shotgun formation. Bootleg. 5-yard run by Sagaw, Cutley Ike on the tackle. Sagaw calls out the signals. Sagaw gives to Football. Football the ball carrier, no gain, EB on the tackle. Third and 5 from the 42. Sagaw at the line. Fades back to pass. Short hitch to Kelly. Incomplete. Sagaw throws incomplete to Kelly, Ryan on the coverage. Stevenson to punt. Ryan standing inside his own 10. "38-yard punt by Stevenson, out of bounds. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Pitch right to Lasky. Lasky on the carry, no gain, Loney with the tackle. Second and 10 from the 4. Single wing formation. The give to Lasky. Lasky with a gain of 1 on the play, Kelly on the tackle. Third and 9 from the 5. Single wing formation. High snap. Ryan lost 5 on the play, Kerr on the tackle, safety. Pertell deep in punt formation. "49-yard punt by Pertell, 31-yard return by Sheridan. Sagaw from the shotgun. Sagaw gives to Zontainai. Zontainai with a gain of 8 on the play, Cutley Ike with the tackle. Second and 2 from the 30. Hand off to Sheridan. Sheridan with a gain of 10 on the play, Ryan on the tackle, first down. Sagaw back to pass. Medium slant. He dropped it. Sagaw throws incomplete to Brown, A on the coverage. Sagaw on the run. 13-yard run by Sagaw, Ryan on the stop, first down. Flag on the field.
False start. Offense. Number 25, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Sagaw on the run. Sagaw with a lane. Sagaw on the carry, touchdown Notre Dame. Sagaw will try the point after. The kick by Sagaw is good, Notre Dame 9, Northwestern 7. The kick from Stevenson. The kick from Stevenson is returned 21 yards by Ryan, Crow with the tackle. First and 10. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Hand off to McGurn. 2-yard run by McGurn, Kelly on the tackle. Second and 8 from the 49. Single wing formation. Soper tucks it under. Ryan gets to the second level. Ryan with a 16-yard run, Basu on the tackle, first down. Northwestern trailing by 2. First and 10. 0:46 in the first. Single wing formation. Soper behind center. Medium hitch. Incomplete. Soper to Evie, incomplete, Stevenson on the coverage. Second and 10. Single wing formation. Ryan at the line. Soper tucks it under. Has an opening. Ryan on the sweep, gain of 17, Zontainai with the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Soper tucks it under. Ryan on the sweep, gain of 10, Stevenson on the stop, first down, end of the first quarter, Notre Dame 9, Northwestern 7, single wing formation. Ryan at the line. Soper gives to Lasky. Lasky on the carry, touchdown Northwestern. Cantillas will try the point after. The kick by Cantillas is good, Northwestern 14, Notre Dame 9. Here's the kick from Cantillas. The kick from Cantillas is returned 16 yards by Sheridan, Mezek on the tackle. First and 10 at the 34. Sagaw from the shotgun. Sagaw gives to Sheridan. 5-yard gain by Sheridan, Cutley Ike on the tackle. Sagaw calls out the signals. Give to Zontainai. Zontainai on the carry, loss of 1, Cutley Ike on the stop. Third and 6. Sagaw sets up in the pocket. Sagaw is running. Sagaw on the carry, gain of 6, Daly on the tackle. Fourth and less than a foot from the 44. Sagaw calling signals. Sagaw on the sneak. Sagaw on the sneak, gain of 1, Daly with the tackle, first down. Sheridan with the handoff. Sheridan on the carry, no gain, Voits on the tackle. Sagaw back to pass. Long in. He dropped it. Sagaw to Brown, incomplete, flag on the play.
Roughing the passer, defense. Number 51, 15-yard penalty. Automatic, first down.
Sheridan behind center. Sheridan running. Sheridan with a 2-yard run, Deal on the tackle. Second and 8 from the 38. Sagaw sets up in the pocket. Sagaw will have to run. Sagaw the ball carrier, gain of 9, Cutley Ike with the tackle, first down. Hand off to Sheridan. Sheridan the ball carrier, loss of 2, Daly with the tackle. 2nd and 12. The give to Zontainai. Zontainai on the carry, gain of 3, Daly on the tackle. 3rd and 9. Saga going through the signals now. He fades back to pass. Medium hitch. He's got it. Saga to Brown, touchdown Notre Dame. Saga will try the point after. The kick by Saga is good. Notre Dame 16, Northwestern 14. Here's the kick from Stevenson. The kick from Stevenson is returned 24 yards by Honenstein, Bernal on the tackle. Single wing formation. Ryan in the shotgun. Ryan calls out the signals. Soper hands to McGurn. 3-yard gain by McGurn, Kelly with the tackle. Some confusion on the defense. Single wing formation. Ryan drops back to pass. Medium fly to deal. Complete. Timeout, Notre Dame. Northwestern breaks the huddle. Single wing formation. Soper behind center. Soper on the run. Soper on the sweep, gain of 2, Kell on the tackle. Single wing formation. Ryan drops back to pass. Screen to McGurn. He makes the catch. Ryan passes to McGurn, gain of 9, Basu on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Transfers control to Ryan. He throws to Deal. Complete. Ryan passes to Deal, gain of 13, Zontainai with the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Daly lines up outside. Soper hands to Pertel. Pertel on the carry, no gain, Kelly on the tackle. Second and 10. Single wing formation. Ryan sets up in the pocket. Medium fly. He dropped it. Ryan to Deal, incomplete. Third and 10 from the 15. Single wing formation. Hand off to Ryan. He throws to Soper. Logie takes it forward. Ryan is intercepted by Logie, return of 0. Shotgun formation. Saga calls out the signals. Give to Zontainai. Zontainai the ball carrier, loss of 1, Daly with the tackle. Saga hands to Zontainai. Zontainai with a 4-yard run, Method on the tackle. Third and 7 from the 9. Saga gives to Sheridan. Sheridan with a gain of 5 on the play, Deal with the tackle. Stevenson to punt. A 40-yard punt by Stevenson, return of 6 by Ryan. Single wing formation. Ryan in the shotgun. Drops back to pass. Short cross to Evie. Complete. Fumble. Ryan to Evie, gain of 12, penalty on the play.
Holding, offense. Number 15, 10-yard penalty,
Saga in the shotgun. Saga hands to Football. Has an opening. Football on the carry, gain of 21, Hudley Ike with the tackle, first down. Bootleg. Lots of daylight. Saga on the bootleg, gain of 15, Ryan with the tackle, first down. Notre Dame by 2. First and 10 at the 27. 5:40 in the second. Saga gives to Sheridan. Room for Sheridan. 17-yard gain by Sheridan, Ryan on the tackle, first down. Fighting Irish leads by 2. Saga tucks it under. 4-yard run by Saga, deal on the tackle. Second and goal from the 6. Saga pitches right to Football. Football on the pitch, no gain, EB on the tackle. Third and goal from the 6. Bootleg. Saga on the bootleg, touchdown Notre Dame. Saga will try the point after. Saga makes the extra point, Notre Dame 23, Northwestern 14. Stevenson boots it. The kick from Stevenson is returned 31 yards by Jefferson, Bernal on the tackle. Single wing formation. Ryan from the shotgun. The hand off to Soper. Soper the ball carrier, gain of 1, Kell on the tackle. Second and 9 from the 46. Single wing formation. Daly split outside. McGurn takes the handoff. McGurn on the carry, gain of 1, Kelly with the tackle. Third and 8 at the 47. Single wing formation. Daly split outside. Ryan calling signals. Fades back to pass. Medium crossing pass to Daly, complete. Ryan completes the pass to Daly, gain of 22, Zontinai with the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Soper behind center. Northwestern hustling to the line. Soper on the draw. Soper on the draw, gain of 5, Kerr on the tackle. Second and 5 from the 26. Single wing formation. Hurry up offense. The hand off to McGurn. McGurn on the carry, 2-yard gain, Brown on the tackle. Third and 3 from the 24. Single wing formation. Northwestern in a hurry up. Ryan drops back to pass. Nailed by Kelly. Ryan is sacked by Kelly, loss of 4. Fourth and 7 at the 28. Single wing formation. They're in a hurry up. Ryan drops back to pass. Back shoulder throw to Eby. Eby with the catch inside the 15. Ryan completes the pass to Eby, gain of 16, Stevenson on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Ryan is back to pass. Ryan is off and running. 2-yard gain by Ryan, Kell with the tackle. Second and 8 at the 10. Single wing formation. Northwestern hustling to the line. 8 play 45-yard drive. 2:55 off the clock. Someone jumped. Possible free play for Ryan. McGurn with the handoff. McGurn on the carry, 4-yard gain, penalty flag.
Encroachment defense. Number 78, 5-yard penalty.
Single wing formation. Ryan calling signals. Soper on the run. Ryan lost 3 on the play, Kerr with the tackle. Third and 6 from the 8. Single wing formation. McGurn with the handoff. McGurn with a gain of 7 on the play, Gallagher on the tackle, first down. Northwestern down by 9. First and goal at the 1. 0:34 in the second. Single wing formation. Goal line defense. Give to Ryan. He throws to Lasky. Ryan is intercepted by Basu, return of 0. Saga from the shotgun. Saga at the line. Bootleg. 8-yard gain by Saga, deal on the tackle. Second and 2. 0:07 left in the second. Bootleg. 9-yard run by Saga, Honenstein on the tackle, first down, end of the first half, the kick from Cantias. The kick from Cantias is returned 14 yards by Saga, Mezek with the tackle. Penalty on the play.
False start. Offense. Number 78, 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
First and 15 at the 30. Shotgun. Saga hands to Football. Football with a gain of 5 on the play, EV on the tackle. Second and 10 from the 35. Saga gives to Sheridan. Sheridan lost 1 on the play, Cutley Ike on the tackle. Third and 11. Saga gives to Sheridan. Sheridan the ball carrier, no gain, Cutley Ike on the stop. Stevenson to punt. "39-yard punt by Stevenson, return of 7 by Ryan.
Offsides, offense, 5-yard penalty.
Single wing formation. Ryan in the shotgun. The give to Ryan. He throws to Lasky. Incomplete. Ryan throws incomplete to Lasky, Basu on the coverage. Second and 10 from the 34. Single wing formation. Give to Ryan. He throws to Deal. Ryan is intercepted by Zontana, return of 0. Shotgun. Saga running. Has an opening. Saga with a penalty on the play.
Holding, offense. Number 25, 10-yard penalty.
First and 20. Saga in the shotgun. Someone jumped. Possible free play for Saga. Sheridan with the handoff. Sheridan with the carry, gain, penalty on the play.
Encroachment defense. Number 69, 5-yard penalty.
Saga brings them to the line. Saga calling signals. Bootleg. Saga on the bootleg, gain of 2, deal on the tackle. Second and 13 from the 41. Saga barks out the signals. Saga running. Saga on the carry, no gain, Daly on the tackle. Notre Dame ahead by 9. Third and 13 from the 41. Saga calls out the signals. Drops back to pass. Medium cross to Brown. Incomplete. Saga throws incomplete to Brown, A on the coverage. Stevenson to punt. A 46-yard punt by Stevenson, return of 7 by Honenstein. Single wing formation. Ryan from the shotgun. Quick pitch to McGurn. McGurn with the carry, gain of 7, Brown on the tackle. Northwestern breaks the huddle. Single wing formation. The give to Ryan. He throws to Deal. Incomplete. Ryan throws incomplete to Deal, Zontinai on the coverage. Northwestern trailing by 9. Third and 3. 11:20 in the third. Single wing formation. Ryan takes a deep drop. Short slant to Daly. Incomplete. Ryan passes to Daly, incomplete, flag on the play.
Illegal motion, offense. Number 23, 5-yard penalty.
Pertel back in punt formation. A 28-yard punt by Pertel, return of 15 by Sheridan. Shotgun. Saga gives to Sheridan. 3-yard gain by Sheridan, Honenstein on the tackle. Second and 7. Saga drops back to pass. Saga throws downfield to Kelly. Incomplete. Saga throws incomplete to Kelly, Ryan on the coverage. Third and 7 from the 37. Saga barks out the signals. Bootleg. Saga the ball carrier, gain of 4, Young on the tackle. Fourth and 3 from the 33. Saga fades back to pass. Sacked by Evie. Saga is sacked by Evie, loss of 11. First and 10 from the 44. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. The handoff to McGurn. McGurn the ball carrier, loss of 1, Kelly on the tackle. Second and 11 at the 43. Single wing formation. Give to Ryan. Sacked by Kerr. Ryan is sacked by Kerr, loss of 6. Third and 17. Single wing formation. Ryan fades back to pass. Medium slant. Complete. Ryan to deal, gain of 22, Stevenson on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Hand off to Ryan. He throws to deal. Complete. Ryan completes the pass to deal, gain of 13, Zontinai on the tackle, first down. First and 10 from the 28. Single wing formation. The hand off to Pertel. Pertel the ball carrier, gain of 1, Kell on the tackle. Northwestern trailing by 9. Single wing formation. Ryan is back to pass. Ryan throws deep downfield to deal. Ryan throws incomplete to deal, Zontinai with the coverage. Third and 9. Single wing formation. Ryan drops back to pass. He throws to McGurn. Incomplete. Ryan throws incomplete to McGurn, Loney on the coverage. Fourth and 9. Single wing formation. Ryan at the line. He fades back to pass. Medium cross to deal. Complete. Ryan completes the pass to deal, touchdown Northwestern. Cantillas will try the point after. The kick by Cantillas is good, Notre Dame 23, Northwestern 21. Here's the kick from Cantillas. The kick from Cantillas is returned 22 yards by Football, Pertel on the tackle. Shotgun. Bootleg. 3-yard run by Saga, EB on the tackle. Second and 7 from the 42. Saga sets up in the pocket. Saga will run. Saga the ball carrier, gain of 9, Cutley Ike with the tackle, first down. The give to Zontinai. Zontinai with the carry, no gain, Cutley Ike on the tackle. Bootleg. Saga on the carry, loss of 2, EB on the tackle. Third and 12. Saga drops back to pass. Daly pulls him down by the ankle. Saga is sacked by Daly, loss of 11. Stevenson to punt. "40-yard punt by Stevenson, return of 3 by Honenstein.
Holding, receiving team.
First and 10 from the 12. Single wing formation. Soper behind center. Shotgun formation. Soper on the draw. Soper with a gain of 4 on the play, Basu on the tackle. Northwestern breaks the huddle. Second and 6. Single wing formation. Ryan calls out the signals. Bootleg. 3-yard run by Ryan, Kelly on the tackle. Third and 3 from the 19. Single wing formation. Some movement up front. Possible free play for Ryan. Fades back to pass. Screen to Lasky. Complete. Ryan completes the pass to Lasky, penalty on the play.
Encroachment, defense. Number 42, 5-yard penalty,
Northwestern trailing by 2. Single wing formation. Ryan back to pass. Footballs. Ryan with a gain of 11 on the play, Stevenson on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Ryan at the line. McGurn with the handoff. McGurn lost 1 on the play, Biner on the tackle. Single wing formation. Ryan at the line. The give to Soper. He throws to Lasky, complete. Soper passes to Lasky, gain of 12, Basu on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Ryan at the line. Pitch right to McGurn. McGurn on the pitch, no gain, Kelly on the stop. Second and 10. Single wing formation. Ryan calling the signals. Fades back to pass. Short slant to Evie. Incomplete. Ryan with the pass to Evie, incomplete, Stevenson with the coverage. Northwestern trailing by 2. Third and 10. Single wing formation. Hand off to Ryan. He throws to Soper. Incomplete. Ryan throws incomplete to Soper, Sitko on the coverage. Pertel deep in punt formation. Sitko waiting inside his own 10. "20-yard punt by Pertel, out of bounds. Sheridan behind center. Shotgun formation. Sheridan running. Sheridan with a lane. Sheridan on the carry, gain of 11, Method with the tackle, first down. End of the third quarter, Notre Dame 23, Northwestern 21. First and 10. Sheridan with the handoff. Sheridan on the carry, no gain, Method on the stop. Bootleg. Saga with the carry, gain of 6, Daly on the stop. Third and 4 from the 50. Saga hands to Zontainai. Zontainai with a gain of 7 on the play, deal with the tackle, first down. Saga gives to Zontainai. Zontainai on the carry, gain of 3, EB on the tackle. Saga calling the signals. Saga pitches right to Peepool. Peepool lost 3 on the play, Method on the tackle. Third and 10. Sheridan behind center. Sheridan calling signals. Short hitch to Zontainai. Incomplete. Sheridan throws incomplete to Zontainai, Method with the coverage. Stevenson will punt. Honenstein standing inside his own 10. "38-yard punt by Stevenson, no return. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Ryan calling signals. Hand off to Ryan. He throws to McGurn. Complete. Ryan passes to McGurn, gain of 13, Loney on the tackle, first down. First and 10 from the 18. Single wing formation. Soper behind center. Short curl to Lasky. Complete. Soper completes the pass to Lasky, gain of 7, Basu on the tackle. Penalty on the play.
False start. Offense. Number 50, 5-yard penalty.
Second and 8 from the 20. Single wing formation. Ryan fades back to pass. Short outside pass. Incomplete. Ryan to Daly, incomplete, Zontinai on the coverage. Third and 8 from the 20. Single wing formation. Ryan fades back to pass. False. Ryan the ball carrier, gain of 6, Kerr on the tackle. Pertel back in punt formation. .38-yard punt by Pertel, return of 7 by Sitko.
Holding. Receiving team. 15-yard penalty.
Shotgun. Saga sets up in the pocket. Saga to Brown. Incomplete. Saga throws incomplete to Brown. Saga gives to P-Pool. 1-yard run by P-Pool, EB on the tackle. Third and 9. Saga drops back to pass. Medium cross. Caught by Brown. Saga with the pass to Brown, touchdown Notre Dame. Saga will try the point after. Saga makes the extra point, Notre Dame 30, Northwestern 21. Here's the kick from Stevenson. The kick from Stevenson is returned 31 yards by Jefferson, Bernal on the tackle.
Illegal block. Receiving team. 15-yard penalty.
Single wing formation. Ryan in the shotgun. Hand off to Ryan. He throws to Soper. He makes the catch. Ryan passes to Soper, gain of 12, Stevenson on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Northwestern hustling to the line. Bootleg. Ryan on the bootleg, no gain, Gallagher on the stop. Second and 10 at the 42. Single wing formation. Northwestern in a hurry up. Hand off to Ryan. He throws to Soper. Incomplete. Ryan throws incomplete to Soper, Sitko on the coverage. Northwestern trailing by 9. Third and 10 at the 42. Single wing formation. Ryan sets up in the pocket. Ryan is off and running. Has an opening. Ryan on the carry, gain of 19, Stevenson with the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Hurry up offense. Ryan barks out the signals. Soper gives to Soper. Soper the ball carrier, gain of 1, penalty on the play.
Illegal motion. Offense. Number 50, 5-yard penalty.
Single wing formation. Pertel takes the handoff. 6-yard gain by Pertel, Biner on the tackle. Single wing formation. Hurry up offense. Ryan barks out the signals. The hand off to Lasky. Lasky the ball carrier, gain of 2, Kell on the tackle. Third and 7 from the 36. Single wing formation. Northwestern hustling to the line. Draw to McGurn. McGurn lost 2 on the play, Gallagher with the tackle. Fourth and 9 from the 38. Single wing formation. They're in a hurry up. Ryan fades back to pass. Medium hitch. Incomplete. Ryan throws incomplete to Evie, Stevenson with the coverage. Notre Dame ahead by 9. First and 10. Shotgun formation. Zontainai with the hand off. 7-yard run by Zontainai, Cutley Ike on the tackle. Notre Dame taking their time. Bootleg. Saga on the bootleg, 9-yard gain, Ryan on the tackle, first down. They're in a slow down. Bootleg. Saga on the bootleg, 3-yard gain, Daly on the tackle. Second and 7 from the 43. Slow down. Bootleg. Saga on the carry, gain of 3, Deal on the tackle. Third and 4 from the 40. Slow down offense. Saga drops back to pass. Short hitch to Sitko. Incomplete. Saga passes to Sitko, incomplete, Method on the coverage. Stevenson to punt. Honenstein waiting inside his own 10. "19-yard punt by Stevenson, out of bounds. Northwestern down by 9. First and 10 from the 21. Single wing formation. Ryan in the shotgun. Shovels it to Ryan. He throws to Soper. Incomplete. Ryan to Soper, incomplete, Sitko on the coverage. Second and 10 from the 21. Single wing formation. Ryan fades back to pass. Short out pass. Incomplete. Ryan throws incomplete to Deal. Northwestern trailing by 9. Third and 10. 4:33 left in the game. Single wing formation. Ryan calling signals. Ryan fades back to pass. Balls. With room to run. Ryan on the carry, gain of 27, Stevenson with the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Northwestern in a hurry up. Ryan calling signals. The give to Soper. Soper lost 1 on the play, Basu on the tackle. Second and 11 from the 47. Single wing formation. Hurry up. Soper tucks it under. Ryan on the carry, gain of 4, Brown with the tackle. Third and 7. Single wing formation. Northwestern in a hurry up. Ryan at the line. Ryan fades back to pass. Ryan tucks it under. Ryan the ball carrier, gain of 2, Kell on the tackle. Pertell back to punt. Sheridan waiting inside his own 10. "14-yard punt by Pertell, out of bounds.
Offsides. Offense. 5-yard penalty.
Shotgun. Bootleg. Saga the ball carrier, gain of 4, Ryan on the tackle. Notre Dame taking their time. Sheridan takes the handoff. Sheridan with a gain of 2 on the play, EB on the tackle. 3rd and 4. The handoff to Sheridan. Sheridan with a gain of 4 on the play, Deal on the tackle, first down. Notre Dame by 9. 1st and 10 from the 43. Bootleg. Saga on the bootleg, gain of 3, Voits with the tackle. Second and 7 from the 46. 1:09 in the 4th. Saga slow to the line. The handoff to P-Pool. P-Pool with the carry, gain of 1, EB on the tackle. 3rd and 6. Saga tucks it under. Saga on the carry, 1-yard gain, Daly on the tackle. Stevenson to punt. Ryan standing inside his own 10. "36-yard punt by Stevenson, 9-yard return by Ryan. Northwestern trailing by 9. Single wing formation. Ryan in the shotgun. Drops back to pass. Long out. Incomplete. Ryan throws incomplete to EB, Zontinai on the coverage. Northwestern trailing by 9. Single wing formation. Ryan sets up in the pocket. Long sideline pass to EB. Incomplete. Ryan throws incomplete to EB, Stevenson on the coverage. Northwestern trailing by 9. 3rd and 10 from the 25. Some confusion on the defense. Single wing formation. McGurn split outside. Daly split wide. Ryan back to pass. Ryan throws deep downfield. Incomplete. Timeout, Notre Dame. Northwestern breaks the huddle. Northwestern down 9. 4th and 10 from the 25. 0:15 in the 4th. Single wing formation. Hand off to Ryan. He dumps it to McGurn. Complete. Ryan to McGurn, gain of 3, Loney on the tackle. Saga will take a knee. Notre Dame 30, Northwestern 21. Welcome to Cotton Bowl. Oklahoma against Cornell. For this Action PC playoff game. Ready to kick off. The kick from Ruddy is returned 14 yards by McCarty, Rose on the tackle. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Clark gives to Martin. Martin on the carry. Flag on the field.
Holding, offense. Number 24, 10-yard penalty.
Single wing formation. Shotgun. McCullough fades back to pass. Medium cross. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Shirk. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. Screen to McCarty. McCullough to McCarty, gain of 20, Eichler on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. McCullough back to pass. Pass in the flat to Martin, complete. McCullough to Martin, gain of 14, Roth with the tackle, first down. Oklahoma breaks the huddle. Single wing formation. Clark behind center. Clark on the draw. Clark on the draw, no gain, Spang on the stop. Single wing formation. McCullough at the line. The give to McCullough. He throws to Shirk. He's got it. McCullough to Shirk, gain of 13, Eichler on the stop, first down. Single wing formation. Bootleg. McCullough with a gain of 1 on the play, West on the tackle. Second and 9. Single wing formation. Clark pitches right to McCarty. McCarty with the carry, no gain, Spang on the tackle. Third and 9 at the 37. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. Medium button hook. Shirk with the catch at the 20. McCullough to Shirk, gain of 20, Eichler on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Clark behind center. Clark tucks it under. Clark on the sweep, loss of 4, Kelly on the tackle. Single wing formation. McCullough drops back to pass. Medium hitch. Incomplete. McCullough passes to Martin, incomplete. Third and 14. Single wing formation. The give to McCullough. He throws to Clark. Incomplete. McCullough passes to Clark, incomplete. Fourth and 14. Single wing formation. McCullough at the line. McCullough fades back to pass. McCullough will have to run. 1 yard run by McCullough, Holland with the tackle. First and 10. Single wing formation. From the shotgun. Bootleg. McCullough on the carry, 7-yard gain, Bowers on the stop. Single wing formation. Scholl running. McCullough with the carry, no gain, Young with the tackle. Third and 3 from the 27. Single wing formation. Scholl hands to Eichler. 3-yard gain by Eichler, Shirt on the tackle. McCullough to punt. "37-yard punt by McCullough, return of 9 by Seymour."
Holding, receiving team. 15-yard penalty.
Single wing formation. Clark behind center. Clark from the shotgun. Clark hollers out the signals. Short hitch to Young. Intercepted by McCullough. Clark is intercepted by McCullough. Return of 2. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Eichler with the handoff. Eichler with the carry, gain of 1, Bowers with the tackle. Second and 9 from the 40. Single wing formation. Scholl behind center. Scholl on the run. Scholl gains 3 on the sweep, Shirk on the tackle. Third and 6 at the 37. Single wing formation. Draw to McCullough. McCullough on the draw, no gain, Spiegel on the tackle. McCullough from punt formation. "23-yard punt by McCullough, no return." First and 10. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. The handoff to Clark. Clark gains 2 on the sweep, West on the tackle. Second and 8 from the 16. Single wing formation. McCullough sets up in the pocket. McCullough is running. McCullough with a gain of 9 on the play, McKeever on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. McCullough back to pass. McCullough passes to Shirk. Incomplete. McCullough to Shirk, incomplete, penalty on the play. Single wing formation. McCullough calling signals. Transfers control to McCullough. He throws to Shirk. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Shirk, Eichler on the coverage. Third and 10 at the 25. Single wing formation. McCullough drops back to pass. McCullough is running. 7-yard gain by McCullough, Eichler with the tackle. Martin back to punt. "34-yard punt by Martin, return of 9 by McCullough." Single wing formation. Shotgun. Bootleg. McCullough on the carry, gain of 6, Young on the tackle. Single wing formation. Movement up front. Possible free play for McCullough. Scholl tucks it under. McCullough with a 6-yard run. Penalty on the play.
Encroachment defense. Number 54, 5-yard penalty.
Single wing formation. McCullough calls out the signals. The give to McCullough. McCullough dumps it to Eichler. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Eichler. Wood on the coverage. Single wing formation. McCullough calls out the signals. Scholl on the run. McCullough on the sweep, no gain. Shirk on the tackle. Third and 10. Single wing formation. McCullough calling signals. Fades back to pass. McCullough to Holland against McCullough. He dropped it. McCullough throws incomplete to Holland. McCullough on the coverage. McCullough to punt. Seymour waiting inside his own 10. "29-yard punt by McCullough, out of bounds. First and 10 at the 16. Single wing formation. McCullough in the shotgun. Drops back to pass. It's dumped to McCarty. He dropped it. McCullough passes to McCarty, incomplete. Van Ranst on the coverage. Second and 10. Single wing formation. Clark behind center. Clark on the draw. Clark on the carry, no gain. Holland on the tackle. Third and 10 at the 16. Single wing formation. McCullough at the line. Fades back to pass. Medium hitch to Martin. Complete. McCullough to Martin, 17-yard gain. Eichler with the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Clark hands to McCarty. McCarty on the carry, gain of 2, West on the stop. No score. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. It's dumped to Martin. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Martin. Penalty on the play.
Roughing the passer, defense. Number 82, 15-yard penalty. Automatic, first down.
Single wing formation. Hand off to McCullough. He throws to Shirk. Complete. McCullough to Shirk, gain of 14, Eichler on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Hand off to McCarty. McCarty on the carry, gain of 5, Kelly on the tackle. Single wing formation. Give to McCullough. He throws to Martin. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Martin. Roth on the coverage. McCullough brings them to the line. 3rd and 5 from the 31. Single wing formation. McCullough drops back to pass. Pass in the flat to Martin, complete. McCullough completes the pass to Martin, gain of 18, Van Ranst on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. McCullough will run. McCullough on the carry, gain of 6, McKeever on the tackle. Single wing formation. McCullough at the line. Clark on the run. McCullough lost 3 on the play, Van Ranst on the tackle. Third and 7 from the 10. Single wing formation. The give to McCullough. He throws to Clark. He's got it. McCullough to Clark, touchdown Oklahoma. Boudreaux will try the point after. The kick by Boudreaux is good. Oklahoma 7, Cornell 0. Favor to kick off. The kick from Favor is returned 27 yards by Eichler, Williams on the tackle. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. The give to Holland. Holland with the carry, gain of 10, Shirk with the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. McCullough at the line. Scholl gives to Peck. Peck the ball carrier, no gain, Shirk on the tackle. Second and 10 from the 46. Single wing formation. McCullough back to pass. Short slant to Holland. He dropped it. McCullough passes to Holland, incomplete. McCullough on the coverage, end of the first quarter, Oklahoma 7, Cornell 0. Third and 10 at the 46. Single wing formation. McCullough calls out the signals. Sets to throw. Dropped by Duggan. McCullough is sacked by Duggan, loss of 8. McCullough to punt. "46-yard punt by McCullough, return of 9 by Rogers. Oklahoma by 7. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. The give to McCullough. He throws to Martin. Complete. McCullough completes the pass to Martin, gain of 12, Roth on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. McCullough at the line. Hand off to McCullough. Spang sacks him. McCullough is sacked by Spang, loss of 5. Oklahoma leads by 7. Second and 15 from the 32. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. False. McCullough with a lane. McCullough with a 12-yard run, Van Ranst on the tackle. Oklahoma by 7. Third and 3 at the 44. Single wing formation. McCullough drops back to pass. Short curl to Young. He's got it. McCullough with the pass to Young, gain of 13, McCullough on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Clark behind center. Clark running. Clark on the sweep, no gain, Roth on the tackle. Second and 10. Single wing formation. McCullough back to pass. Medium into Young. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Young, McCullough on the coverage. Third and 10 from the 43. Single wing formation. The give to McCullough. He throws to McCarty. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to McCarty, penalty on the play.
Roughing the passer, defense. Number 82, 15-yard penalty. Automatic, first down.
Single wing formation. High snap. Fumble. McCullough lost 9 on the play. Fumble recovered by McCullough. Oklahoma maintains possession. 2nd and 19 from the 37. Single wing formation. McCullough calls out the signals. Back to pass. Long slant to Shirk. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Shirk. Eichler on the coverage. Third and 19 at the 37. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. McCullough is running with it. Wide open field. McCullough on the carry, gain of 12, Van Ranst with the tackle. 4th and 7 from the 25. Single wing formation. McCullough at the line. Fades back to pass. Short hitch. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Shirk. Eichler on the coverage. First and 10 from the 25. Single wing formation. Shotgun. The hand off to Eichler. 10-yard gain by Eichler. McCullough with the tackle. First down. First and 10 from the 35. Single wing formation. Hand off to Scholl. Scholl lost 1 on the play. Duggan on the tackle. Second and 11. Single wing formation. McCullough drops back to pass. Long hitch. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Holland. McCullough on the coverage. Third and 11. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. Medium slant to Kelly. Complete. McCullough completes the pass to Kelly. Penalty on the play.
Holding, offense. Number 85, 10-yard penalty.
Third and 21 at the 24. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. Long out. Caught by Holland at the 27. McCullough completes the pass to Holland. Flag on the field.
Holding, offense. Number 71, 10-yard penalty.
Third and 31. Single wing formation. McCullough barks out the signals. McCullough sets up in the pocket. McCullough is running. 1-yard gain by McCullough, Young on the tackle. McCullough to punt. "44-yard punt by McCullough, return of -3 by Rogers. Oklahoma ahead by 7. First and 10 at the 38. Single wing formation. McCullough from the shotgun. Hand off to McCullough. He throws to McCarty. Incomplete. McCullough to McCarty, incomplete. Oklahoma leads by 7. Second and 10 from the 38. Single wing formation. McCullough calls the signals. Hand off to Clark. He throws downfield to Shirk. He dropped it. McCullough passes to Shirk, incomplete. Eichler on the coverage.
Pass interference, defense. Number 54, 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Single wing formation. Clark behind center. Clark on the draw. Clark on the draw, no gain. Kelly on the tackle. Single wing formation. Give to McCullough. He throws to Clark. Complete. McCullough to Clark, gain of 20, Eichler on the tackle, first down. First and 10 from the 27. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. McCullough will run. With a lane. McCullough the ball carrier, gain of 10, Kelly on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. McCullough drops back to pass. Short out pass to McCarty, complete. McCullough completes the pass to McCarty, touchdown Oklahoma. Boudreaux will try the point after. Boudreaux makes the extra point, Oklahoma 14, Cornell 0. Here's the kick from Favor. The kick from Favor is returned 12 yards by Peck, Williams on the tackle. First and 10. Single wing formation. Scholl behind center. Shotgun. Scholl tucks it under. 5-yard run by Scholl, Wood with the tackle. Single wing formation. Scholl hands to Eichler. 1-yard gain by Eichler, Wood on the stop. Third and 4. Single wing formation. Draw to Peck. Peck gains 6 on the draw, Coppage on the stop, first down. Single wing formation. Bootleg. McCullough on the bootleg, loss of 5, Coppage on the tackle. Single wing formation. Scholl running. McCullough on the carry, no gain, Coppage on the tackle. Third and 15. Single wing formation. Hand off to Scholl. He throws to Spang. Incomplete. Scholl throws incomplete to Spang, Rogers on the coverage. McCullough to punt. "40-yard punt by McCullough, return of 9 by Rogers. Oklahoma ahead by 14. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Clark gives to Martin. Martin on the sweep. Flag on the play.
Holding. Offense. Number 19, 10-yard penalty.
Single wing formation. Shotgun. Clark running. McCullough with the carry, gain of 7, McKeever on the tackle. Oklahoma by 14. Single wing formation. Martin with the handoff. Martin lost 3 on the play, Kelly on the stop. Third and 16. Single wing formation. Give to McCullough. He throws to Shirk. Complete. McCullough completes the pass to Shirk, gain of 17, Eichler on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Bootleg. Has room to run. McCullough on the carry, gain of 20, Eichler on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. McCullough drops back to pass. Falls. McCullough the ball carrier, 2-yard gain, Eichler on the tackle. Second and 8 at the 42. Single wing formation. McCullough drops back to pass. Medium out pass. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Martin. Third and 8 at the 42. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. Medium out to McCarty. Complete. McCullough to McCarty, gain of 8, Van Ranst with the tackle. Fourth and inches. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. Short outside pass to Young, complete. McCullough completes the pass to Young, 15-yard gain, Roth on the tackle, first down. First and 10 from the 19. Single wing formation. Current drive, 8 plays, 66 yards. 2:08 off the clock. McCullough fades back to pass. False. McCullough with a 1-yard run, Holland on the tackle. Second and 9 from the 18. Single wing formation. McCullough sets to throw. Medium out to Young. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Young, McCullough on the coverage. Third and 9. Single wing formation. McCullough calls out the signals. Hand off to McCullough. He throws to McCarty. Incomplete. McCullough with the pass to McCarty, incomplete, Van Ranst on the coverage. Fourth and 9 from the 18. 0:52 left in the second. Single wing formation. Current drive, 11 plays, 67 yards. 2:41 off the clock. McCullough fades back to pass. McCullough will run. McCullough with a gain of 3 on the play, Peck on the tackle. Big Red trailing by 14. Single wing formation. From the shotgun. Peck with the hand off. Peck on the sweep, no gain, Young with the tackle. Single wing formation. McCullough drops back to pass. Short hitch to Spang. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Spang, Rogers with the coverage. Cornell trailing by 14. Third and 10 from the 15. 0:29 in the second. Single wing formation. McCullough at the line. Bootleg. With a lane. McCullough on the bootleg, gain of 67, McCullough on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. McCullough back to pass. McCullough throws underneath to Eichler, incomplete. McCullough to Eichler, incomplete. Second and 10 from the 18. Single wing formation. McCullough is back to pass. Medium sideline pass to Kelly. McCullough throws incomplete to Kelly, Rogers with the coverage. Cornell trailing by 14. 3rd and 10 from the 18. 0:08 in the second. Single wing formation. McCullough barks out the signals. He fades back to pass. Medium out to Spang. He dropped it. McCullough throws incomplete to Spang, Seymour on the coverage. 35-yard kick for Ruddy. Baker to hold. The snap from Van Ranst. Ruddy missed the 35-yard attempt. Here's the kick from Faber. The kick from Faber is returned 39 yards by Brown, Faber with the tackle. Single wing formation. McCullough from the shotgun. McCullough at the line. Scholl pitches left to Peck. Peck on the carry, no gain, Coppage on the tackle. Single wing formation. McCullough barks out the signals. Give to Peck. Peck with a 5-yard run, Young on the tackle. Third and 5 at the 36. Single wing formation. McCullough drops back to pass. Short hitch to Peck. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Peck, Spiegel on the coverage. McCullough to punt. "36-yard punt by McCullough, touchback. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. The give to McCullough. He throws to Martin. Complete. McCullough completes the pass to Martin, gain of 19, Eichler on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Bootleg. McCullough on the bootleg, no gain, Kelly on the tackle. Single wing formation. McCullough drops back to pass. Medium hitch to Shirk. He's got it. McCullough to Shirk, gain of 22, Eichler with the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Clark tucks it under. McCullough lost one on the play, Spang on the tackle. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. Medium crossing pattern to Young, he's got it. McCullough completes the pass to Young, gain of 22, Van Ranst on the tackle, first down. First and 10. Single wing formation. Clark gives to McCarty. McCarty with the carry, gain of 2, Kelly on the tackle. Single wing formation. McCullough is back to pass. Short out to Shirk. He makes the catch. McCullough completes the pass to Shirk, gain of 8, Eichler on the tackle. Oklahoma by 14. Third and less than a foot from the 8. Single wing formation. Cornell stacked the line. Clark running. McCullough on the carry, no gain, Holland with the tackle, first down. First and goal from the 8. Single wing formation. Clark with the ball now. 7-yard gain by Clark, Worcester with the tackle. Second and goal. Single wing formation. Goal line defense. McCullough barks out the signals. Clark gives to McCarty. McCarty on the carry, touchdown Oklahoma. Boudreau will try the point after. The kick by Boudreau is no good. Oklahoma 20, Cornell 0. Here's the kick from Faber. The kick from Faber is returned 1 yards by Brown, Martin on the stop. Single wing formation. McCullough from the shotgun. Scholl tucks it under. McCullough the ball carrier, loss of 4, Bowers on the tackle. Cornell breaks the huddle. Single wing formation. McCullough back to pass. Long fly. Incomplete. McCullough to Spang, incomplete, flag on the field.
Holding, offense. Number 82, 10-yard penalty.
Second and 24. Single wing formation. McCullough calls out the signals. Back to pass. Medium hitch to Spang. Incomplete. McCullough to Spang, incomplete, flag on the field.
Holding, offense. Number 82.
Single wing formation. McCullough at the line. Fades back to pass. Medium slant to Holland. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Holland. McCullough on the coverage. Third and 30 from the 5. Single wing formation. McCullough takes a deep drop. Medium into Spang. Incomplete. McCullough to Spang, incomplete, McCullough on the coverage. McCullough to punt. From his own end zone. "40-yard punt by McCullough, return of 11 by Rogers. First and 10 at the 34. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Clark on the run. McCullough on the sweep, no gain, Worcester on the stop. Single wing formation. Clark tucks it under. McCullough lost 4 on the play, Holland on the tackle. Third and 14 from the 38. Single wing formation. McCullough at the line. McCullough fades back to pass. McCullough is off and running. McCullough on the carry, gain of 11, Eichler on the tackle. Fourth and 3. Single wing formation. McCullough at the line. Bootleg. McCullough on the carry, gain of 5, McKeever on the stop, first down. Single wing formation. Bootleg. As daylight. 15-yard run by McCullough, Eichler on the tackle, first down. First and goal from the 7. Single wing formation. Slow down offense. McCullough fades back to pass. Short out. Incomplete. McCullough to McCarty, incomplete, Van Ranst on the coverage. Second and goal from the 7. Single wing formation. Clark tucks it under. McCullough on the sweep, touchdown Oklahoma. Boudreau will try the point after. The kick by Boudreau is no good, Oklahoma 26, Cornell 0. The kick from Faber. The kick from Faber is returned 9 yards by Peck, Faber with the tackle. Cornell down by 26. Single wing formation. McCullough in the shotgun. Scholl gives to Peck. Peck on the sweep, no gain, Shirk on the tackle. Second and 10. Single wing formation. The give to Eichler. Eichler on the carry, gain of 8, McCullough on the tackle. Third and 2 from the 45. Single wing formation. McCullough to throw. Short hitch to Peck. He dropped it. McCullough passes to Peck, incomplete, Spiegel on the coverage. McCullough to punt. Rogers standing inside his own 10. "45-yard punt by McCullough, return of 9 by Rogers. First and 10 from the 19. Single wing formation. Shotgun. High snap. Fumble. McCullough on the carry, loss of 8, fumble recovered by McCullough, Oklahoma maintains possession. Single wing formation. McCullough slow to the line. Fades back to pass. Medium slant to Young. Complete. McCullough completes the pass to Young, 20-yard gain, Roth on the stop, first down. Single wing formation. Clark behind center. Slow down. Clark tucks it under. Clark on the carry, loss of 3, Kelly on the tackle. Second and 13. 2:02 to go in the third. Single wing formation. McCullough taking his time. McCullough calling signals. McCullough fades back to pass. McCullough will run. McCullough on the carry, 5-yard gain, Worcester on the tackle. Third and 8 at the 33. Single wing formation. McCullough taking his time. McCullough at the line. Hand off to McCarty. McCarty gains 4 on the sweep, Spang on the tackle. Martin back in punt formation. "30-yard punt by Martin, 8-yard return by McCullough.
Holding. Receiving team. 15-yard penalty.
Single wing formation. Shotgun. Pitch right to Holland. Holland with daylight. Holland with a 26-yard run, Wood on the stop, first down. Single wing formation. McCullough barks out the signals. Bootleg. McCullough running room. 24-yard gain by McCullough. McCullough on the tackle, first down. End of the third quarter, Oklahoma 26, Cornell 0. Cornell down 26. Single wing formation. Scholl gives to Scholl. Scholl on the carry, no gain, Coppage on the tackle. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. Long cross to Holland. Incomplete. McCullough to Holland, incomplete, McCullough with the coverage. Cornell trailing by 26. 3rd and 10 from the 32. Single wing formation. McCullough drops back to pass. He checks down to Peck. Incomplete. McCullough to Peck, incomplete, Spiegel with the coverage. Fourth and 10. Single wing formation. Give to McCullough. Lahar sacks him. McCullough is sacked by Lahar, loss of 12. Single wing formation. McCullough in the shotgun. Hand off to McCullough. He throws to Clark. Complete. McCullough completes the pass to Clark, gain of 12, Peck on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Slowly coming to the line. Bootleg. McCullough on the bootleg, no gain, McKeever on the tackle. Single wing formation. Oklahoma in no hurry. McCullough fades back to pass. Long cross. Caught by Young inside the 20. McCullough completes the pass to Young, 31-yard gain, Eichler with the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Slow down offense. Clark on the run. McCullough gains 9 on the sweep, Roth on the tackle. Second and 1. Single wing formation. Oklahoma taking their time. Hand off to McCullough. He throws to McCarty. Incomplete. McCullough passes to McCarty, incomplete, Van Ranst with the coverage. Third and 1 at the 4. Single wing formation. McCullough yelling out the signals. The give to McCullough. He throws to Clark. McCullough throws incomplete to Clark, Peck on the coverage. 21-yard attempt for Faber. Martin to hold. Clean snap from Spiegel. The snap from Spiegel. Faber is good from 21 yards, Oklahoma 29, Cornell 0. The kick from Faber. The kick from Faber is returned 13 yards by Borman, Martin on the tackle. Cornell down 29. Single wing formation. From the shotgun. Scholl running. Lots of daylight. McCullough with a gain of 12 on the play, McCullough on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. McCullough drops back to pass. Medium crossing pattern to Burks. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Burks, Rogers on the coverage. Single wing formation. McCullough calls the signals. Back to pass. Medium hitch. Incomplete. McCullough to Holland, incomplete, McCullough on the coverage. Cornell breaks the huddle. 3rd and 10 from the 46. Single wing formation. McCullough back to pass. McCullough throws underneath to Eichler, incomplete. McCullough to Eichler, incomplete, Wood with the coverage. McCullough to punt. Seymour waiting inside his own 10. "38-yard punt by McCullough, return of 18 by Seymour. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. McCullough fades back to pass. McCullough is running with it. McCullough on the carry, 5-yard gain, Holland on the tackle. Second and 5 at the 39. Single wing formation. Slow down offense. Hand off to McCullough. He throws to McCarty. Incomplete. McCullough to McCarty, incomplete, Van Ranst on the coverage. Third and 5 at the 39. Single wing formation. Clark tucks it under. McCullough on the sweep, no gain, Holland on the tackle. Martin will kick it away. "37-yard punt by Martin, return of 13 by Peck. First and 10 at the 37. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. McCullough fades back to pass. Short hitch to Holland. Incomplete. McCullough to Holland, incomplete, McCullough on the coverage. Cornell trailing by 29. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. McCullough dumps it to Eichler, incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Eichler, Seymour with the coverage. Third and 10 from the 37. Single wing formation. McCullough drops back to pass. Medium hitch to Holland. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Holland, McCullough on the coverage. McCullough from punt formation. "32-yard punt by McCullough, return of 9 by Rogers.
Offsides, offense. 5-yard penalty.
First and 10 from the 40. Single wing formation. Clark behind center. Clark in the shotgun. Clark calls out the signals. Medium curl to Shirk. Complete. Fumble. Clark completes the pass to Shirk, gain of 27, fumble recovered by Whisker, Cornell ball. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Shoal running. McCullough on the sweep, no gain, Coppage on the stop. Single wing formation. Hand off to McCullough. He throws to Peck. Incomplete. McCullough passes to Peck, incomplete, Spiegel on the coverage. Cornell down 29. Third and 10. 7:35 left in the game. Single wing formation. McCullough calls the signals. McCullough drops back to pass. False. McCullough gets to the second level. McCullough on the carry, 21-yard gain, McCullough on the tackle, first down. First and 10 at the 45. Single wing formation. Shoal behind center. Medium hitch to Holland. Incomplete. Shoal to Holland, incomplete, McCullough on the coverage. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. Medium out. Caught by Holland. McCullough to Holland, touchdown Cornell. Rose will try the point after. Rose makes the extra point, Oklahoma 29, Cornell 7. Here's the kick from Ruddy. The kick from Ruddy is returned 2 yards by LaRue, Rose on the tackle. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Clark pitches right to Clark. Clark on the pitch, gain of 6, Spang with the tackle. Oklahoma by 22. 2nd and 4 from the 38. 6 o'clock in the 4th. Single wing formation. Oklahoma taking their time. McCarty takes the handoff. McCarty the ball carrier, no gain, West with the tackle. 3rd and 4. Single wing formation. Slow down offense. McCullough fades back to pass. Short hitch to McCarty, complete. McCullough passes to McCarty, gain of 4, Van Ranst on the tackle. Fourth and a foot. Single wing formation. Oklahoma in no hurry. McCarty takes the handoff. McCarty on the carry, loss of 1, Roth on the tackle. Single wing formation. McCullough from the shotgun. The give to McCullough. He throws to Peck. Incomplete. McCullough to Peck, incomplete. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. Short into Spang. Complete. McCullough completes the pass to Spang, gain of 26, McCullough on the tackle, first down. 1st and 10 at the 39. Single wing formation. McCullough drops back to pass. Medium cross to Holland. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Holland. Second and 10 from the 39. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. He throws underneath to Eichler, incomplete. McCullough to Eichler, incomplete, Wood on the coverage. Third and 10 from the 39. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. Short outside pass to Holland. Incomplete. McCullough to Holland, incomplete, flag on the field.
Holding, offense. Number 82, 10-yard penalty.
Fourth and 10 from the 39. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. Medium hitch to Holland. Incomplete. McCullough with the pass to Holland, incomplete, McCullough on the coverage. Single wing formation. McCullough in the shotgun. McCarty takes the handoff. McCarty with the carry, no gain, West on the tackle. Second and 10. Single wing formation. Oklahoma working slowly. Pitch right to Martin. Martin on the pitch, no gain, West on the tackle. Oklahoma ahead by 22. 3rd and 10 from the 39. Single wing formation. Oklahoma working slowly. Clark tucks it under. McCullough lost 4 on the play, Holland on the tackle. Martin back in punt formation. "35-yard punt by Martin, 11-yard return by McCullough.
Offsides. Defense. 5-yard penalty.
Martin deep in punt formation. "35-yard punt by Martin, return of 7 by McCullough. Single wing formation. Shotgun. McCullough barks out the signals. Fades back to pass. Long cross to Holland. He dropped it. McCullough to Holland, incomplete. Second and 10 at the 32. Single wing formation. McCullough drops back to pass. McCullough is off and running. 5-yard gain by McCullough, Mahar on the tackle. Third and 5 at the 37. Single wing formation. McCullough calling signals. McCullough fades back to pass. McCullough tucks it under. McCullough the ball carrier, gain of 3, Shirk on the tackle. Fourth and 2. Single wing formation. McCullough is back to pass. Short out pass to Holland. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Holland, McCullough on the coverage. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. McCarty takes the handoff. McCarty the ball carrier, gain of 1, Kelly on the tackle. Clark takes a knee. Clark takes a knee. Oklahoma 29, Cornell 7.